Rusev, ladder match, WrestleMania, and somehow, every opponent in that match ends up looking like a joke, because the moment Rusev steps in, the whole ladder match stops being a match, and turns into a public demolition. And I need you to be honest, what did you expect would happen? Did you think the other competitors would outsmart him? Did you think they'd find a way to survive? Did you think size and strength like that can be negotiated with tactics? No. This wasn't strategy. This was domination with a weaponized attitude. And Raw on the 13th of April 2026 didn't just give us highlights, it gave us a warning. A message, a statement written in steel and pain. Right from the start, the energy was wrong. You could feel it in the arena. The crowd wasn't just excited, they were tense. Like they were waiting for the moment Rusev finally stops playing nice with physics. Because if there's one thing Rusev does better than anyone else, it's this: he makes you understand that you're not competing against him. You're surviving him. First, let's talk about the ladder match psychology, because Rusev destroys the game before it even starts. A WrestleMania ladder match isn't only about climbing higher. It's about timing, distance control, and punishing hesitation. The best ladder matches aren't about who's strongest, they are about who's ruthless at the exact moment everyone else is still deciding. But Rusev doesn't give opponents time to decide. He hits like a decision has already been made. And that's why every time someone in that ring reached for the ladder, you could almost hear the same thought in their heads: don't get too close, don't get close, don't. But Rusev closes the distance anyway, because the second he catches sight of an opening, the momentum flips. It doesn't just swing toward him, it snaps toward him. And suddenly, what should have been a chaotic spotfest becomes something uglier: controlled violence. Not chaos. Not chaos at all. Control. Raw highlights. The first moment Rusev made everyone regret the ladder in the same way you know that feeling when you watch a highlight and you instantly think, okay, that's not normal. Like, the way it happens doesn't feel like wrestling. It feels like the wrestler is angry at the concept of being touched. That's how the early portions hit. Rusev wasn't wandering around looking for opportunities. He wasn't setting up. He wasn't letting anyone play games. He was moving like a man who had already decided what was going to happen to each person in that match. And when the ladder finally enters the picture in a way that turns dangerous, the match stops being about who can climb. It's about who can survive the first collision. Rusev's presence alone forces opponents to spread out, and when they spread out, the ring becomes a place where mistakes happen. Someone hesitates. Someone commits too early. Someone tries to counter and ends up stuck with the wrong timing. And Rusev takes that timing personally. It's like he's not just fighting them, he's punishing their confidence. Trivial comment. Question 1. Answer this. When you imagine a ladder match, what's your biggest fear? A getting pulled into the ladder base, B getting knocked off your balance, or C ladder shots that shouldn't hurt that bad? Dropper, B, or C? Because your answer tells me what you're really watching for. Rusev destroys one opponent with pure impact, like he's erasing the idea of coming back. There's a difference between getting hit and getting erased. In the Raw highlights on the 13th of April 2026, Rusev hits opponents in that second way. It's not just a strike, it's an event. The ladder match becomes a series of snapshots. Somebody tries to get control of the ladder, Rusev intercepts. Somebody attempts a big swing, Rusev answers with a bigger consequence. Somebody tries to escape and reposition, and Rusev follows like he's magnetized to momentum. And the anger comes from one thing: he makes it look easy. That's what bothers everyone watching. It doesn't feel like luck. It doesn't feel like a lucky break. It feels inevitable. It feels like opponents are walking into a trap that was designed long before the match started. Rusev doesn't have to wait for the perfect moment. He manufactures it. And when he finally takes an opponent down in a way that turns the ladder match into a threat, you don't just see pain, you see the match altering. Because the moment a competitor loses confidence, ladder matches get brutal fast. People start rushing. People stop thinking. People make errors that would have been avoidable. Rusev creates those errors. He doesn't just win exchanges. He breaks rhythm. Then the match turns. Rusev starts treating ladders like tools, not props. This is the part where viewers either love the intensity or get furious, because it's unfair. Ladders are supposed to be neutral objects. They can help you reach, defend, or attack. But in a ladder match, everyone is supposed to use them. Everyone is supposed to have moments. Rusev doesn't do moments. He does statements. He handles the ladder like he's holding the ring together, like it belongs to him. And every time an opponent tries to take that ladder away from the flow, Rusev punishes the attempt. Not with moves, with consequences. This is where the angering part hits hardest. because you can feel how the crowd shifts, the cheers start turning into disbelief, then into noise, then into that angry excitement when you know somebody is about to get punished again. And when Rusev keeps going, you're like, bro, how much more are you going to take? But the answer is, he's going to take it all. Because Rusev is not trying to win a ladder match, he's trying to win a message into existence. You don't get to challenge me without paying. Trivial comment question: too quick. In ladder matches, do you think the ladder should be used more for 1. Climbing, 2. Weapon strikes, or 3. Trapping opponent's movement? Reply with 1, 2, or 3. Raw highlights: the mid-match violence that feels like it ends careers but the camera still wants more. Mid-match is where ladder matches separate good from great, because early on, everyone's still feeling things out. Mid-match is where you see who has the stomach for it. And Rusev looks like he has no stomach for mercy. The clips, those raw highlights, show a specific pattern. 1. Opponent gains partial control. 2. Opponent tries to exploit that control. 3. Rusev kills the angle. 4. Ladder becomes a trap again. 5. Crowd goes from watching to surviving the moment with you, and when the next exchange happens, it's not just that Rusev is landing offense, it's that he's landing offense with intent. You can tell he's tracking spacing like a chess player, but striking like an executioner. So when the ladder match heats up again, you're not watching a sport. You're watching a man turn a match type into his personal territory. The most enraging part: opponents keep thinking they can outwork him. Listen, everyone loves underdogs. Everyone loves they'll come back. But in this ladder match, the comeback attempts are like throwing sand at a fire. You can do it, but it doesn't stop anything. Rusev absorbs the rush. He catches the momentum. He turns it into a moment where the opponent's plan gets reversed. And that's where the anger comes from, honestly, because you start yelling at the screen, not because you're a hater, but because you know the opponent's about to get cooked and they keep charging in anyway. They don't learn fast enough. And Rusev is built to punish that exact behavior. If you keep running into him like you'll be the exception, he'll treat you like you're not. He's not interested in almost. He wants full compliance. Trivial comment question 3. I'm serious. Answer: be honest, what do you watch for in ladder matches more, the biggest ladder spot or the most brutal selling type spot or selling? Late match chaos, and Rusev turns it back into dominance. Late match ladder action is usually where everyone gangs up. It's where you see alliances break. It's where 2-on-1 becomes the norm. But if Rusev is involved, late match chaos doesn't stay chaotic for long, because he has the kind of power that disrupts teamwork. He doesn't just take hits, he changes where hits land. Even when multiple opponents try to surround him, Rusev shifts the center of gravity. He forces them to misread the distance. And you can feel how the match's tempo changes. Opponents start moving fast to compensate. Fast movement leads to collis irons. Collis irons create opening angles. Openings turn into control. Control turns into destruction. And that is the entire story of this highlight package. That's the raw highlights on the 13th of April 2026. That's why people were furious and hungry for the end, because you knew Rusev wasn't going to simply win. He was going to finish. So what does it mean when Rusev destroys his ladder match opponents? It means 3 things. 1. He humiliates their plans. They enter thinking in sequences, he breaks the sequence early. 2. He turns defense into a liability. Even when opponents try to be safe, the ladder match doesn't forgive safety. Rusev punishes caution. 3. He makes the match feel personal. It's not just I'm better. It's I'm taking something from you every time you try to take something from me. And when a wrestler does that, when the violence feels intentional and the control feels surgical, viewers don't just watch the highlights. They relive them. They argue about them. They share them. They comment like they want the world to know, yo, you saw what happened, right? Because you didn't just watch a ladder match. You watch Rusev erase people's confidence like it was a mistake he can punish. The crowd reaction tells you everything. When the crowd reacts to a ladder match like this, when they get loud not just for big moves, but for every beat of control, it means the audience recognizes the threat. They recognize the dominance pattern. They recognize that Rusev isn't surviving moments. He's manufacturing them. So by the time you reach the most intense sequences in the raw highlights, you're not surprised he's winning. You're surprised he's not stopping sooner. And that's where the emotion spikes again, the angering part. Because it feels like the match opponents didn't just lose. They were made to look powerless in front of everyone. And nobody wants to watch that, until it happens to the person you hate most. So tell me the truth, are you cheering Rusev's destruction or are you mad at him for how far he's taking it? You can be both. Trivial comment question 4, last one before the final push. If you could change one thing about the ladder match rules, would you? A ban interference, B limit ladder shots, or C keep it chaos and let people do anything. Reply A, B, or C, final stretch, why you need to watch to the end and why you should share it. Here's the reason you should stay locked to the end, because ladder matches have a hidden truth. The final minutes aren't always the most brutal part. Sometimes, they're the part that proves something. Rusev's destruction in those Raw highlights on the 13th of April 2026 isn't just about big hits. It's about the final confirmation of dominance, the proof that the opponents weren't only outmatched physically, they were outmatched mentally from the first time they hesitated. When you reach the climax, you'll feel it. The ladder match stops being a contest and starts being a lesson. And if you've ever watched wrestling thinking, why does it feel like some people are destined to win, this is that moment. Because Rusev doesn't look like he's hoping. He looks like he already knows. Call to action, make them comment, make them share, so I want comments. Not nice match comments, real ones. Who do you think had the best strategy before it collapsed? Was Rusev unstoppable, or did the opponent make mistakes that were obvious from the start? And be honest, what moment in the Raw highlights made you say, okay, that's too far? Also, share this video, because if people only watch the clips without watching the story, they miss the most important thing. This wasn't just Rusev being strong. This was Rusev being ruthless *. And that's the difference between a highlight reel and a statement you remember. Now drop your answers in the comments, and let's see who else was feeling that same anger from the beginning. Because if you watched all the way here, you already know Rusev didn't just win the ladder match. He destroyed the idea that anyone could stand in his way.